This brand new channel generated over 20 million views in one single month with these AI animated videos. If you look at their videos, they create these ultra-realistic AI animal bite force videos with super addictive visuals that grab your attention right away. Now, looking at this channel made me curious. I wondered if I could make the same type of videos as SciFX. Getting into it, what surprised me wasn't the views. It was how simple the system behind it was. What I didn't expect was where I almost messed this up. So I did my research, and I assumed there was no way I could match their quality without weeks of work. At first, I thought the visuals were the reason these videos worked. I was wrong, and that assumption cost me time. It's actually all of the previous work you do before that determines how well your visuals will come out as. Everything that I learned while researching these videos are set into prompts in the Notion linked below. Get access to them so you don't have to run into the same problems and issues that I did. Because once the script is locked in, everything afterward, the images, the animations, the voiceover, all of it becomes plug and play. So how we do this is quite simple. So let's get into it. Head over to Prompt Notion and grab the first prompt and paste it into ChatGPT. You'll receive a list of a bunch of different animals and their bite force. I wanted to mix it up, so I regenerated and had ChatGPT give me extinct and mythical animals. With the list of animals ChatGPT gives, select anywhere from 4 to 6 options to get in the 30-second to 1-minute range of your video duration. We're going to turn this script into images. And I am going to slow this part down a bit, to be thorough, because this is where most people accidentally make their videos look inconsistent and cheap. And it's not obvious until you see it. But from a viewer's point of view, it's clear. Different styles, different lighting, it just feels off. The way you produce your visuals is extremely important, so let's get into it. Head to the prompting Notion and grab the 3 different image prompts and paste them into ChatGPT alongside the list of your animals that you'll be covering, and hit enter. Now, I have 4 image prompts ready to be generated inside Flow's Nano Banana. Your image prompts should be structured similar to mine. If they are, let's head over to Nano Banana. You can just head back to the Notion, scroll down to the tool stack, and you'll find the direct link to Flow. Click it, then enable these features like I am, Nano Banana Pro, and 9:16 ratio. Once your settings are correctly enabled, go back to ChatGPT, copy the first image prompt, paste it into Flow, and generate the image. Select the image that you think is the best. We will be replicating that visual style throughout the rest of the scenes. Then, grab the next image prompt and paste it under your chosen image to replicate the visual style for visual consistency and generate the image. Repeat this process for the rest of the scenes. Go back to ChatGPT, copy the next image prompt, and paste it into Flow underneath the chosen image. This part is simple, but it only works because of the decision we made earlier. Without it, our images would have looked all inconsistent and weird. Some of them would have different visual styles and framing than the others. But now that all of our scenes are generated, we'll turn them into videos using VO 3.1 quality. To create the video prompts, go back to the Notion, grab the very last prompt, which is the animation prompt, paste it into ChatGPT, and paste your image prompts underneath and hit enter. Then head back to Flow to turn these images into videos. And the feature we're using to do that is frames to video, since ingredients to video doesn't work for 9:16 ratio. Insert the first image scene. Make sure the aspect ratio is 9:16. Insert the prompt and hit generate. From here, repeat the same process for each scene. The only thing changing is the scene and the prompt. Input your next scene. Go to ChatGPT and grab your next prompt and paste it into Flow and generate the video. Once you're finished, we're going to generate the voiceover for the video. For this, you can use any text-to-speech software, but of course I'm going to use 11 Labs. I tested a few voices here. Some sounded alright, but not necessarily the vibe we were looking for. However, the Chris voice actor in 11 Labs is perfect for these types of videos. This sounds almost identical to our competitor, so feel free to use this voice actor too. Now just insert the script. I added more depth to mine. Instead of the script being purely commentary, I added a hook and more detail to each scene. You can do the same. Either manually add more depth to it like I did, or just prompt ChatGPT to add some depth and a hook to your video script. And once your script is finalized, format it accordingly, generate both of the voiceovers, and download the one you like best. Then before we go into editing everything together, head over to the YouTube audio library and go through the different audios and download the audio that you want as background music in your short. I'm going with rhythmic drumming for my sound, so I downloaded that one. I'm going to walk through this in detail because once you dial this process in, You can easily get this done in 15 minutes. We'll just need CapCut to edit everything together. The first step, adding our voiceover to the timeline and cutting out any gaps in the voiceover itself. Zoom into the timeline and cut out any parts of the audio where there is just dead space, but make sure to not botch the voice itself. After cleaning up the voice, everything else is just alignment, ensuring the visuals serve the voice, not the other way around. I'm mixing it up and incorporating images and videos to extend the length of the scenes as well. I also used a few features. I used the reverse feature, and to do that, just right-click a scene, go to Edit, and select Reverse. I also turned the images in the beginning into a compound clip and used the keyframe features to give the images a zoom-in movement as well. To do that, all you need to do is click the scene, adjust the aspect ratio, go to the other end of the scene and lower or raise the aspect ratio, then right-click that image and select Ease In or Ease Out. Then, to finalize the visuals, we need to input some captions. And to do that, we can use CapCut's auto-generation feature. Go to Text, go to Captions, and select Auto-Generate. Then just customize your caption styles to personalize and give it a branding style. There are different presets that you can go through as well. The one that I am using is the same that our competitor uses, so feel free to copy, or you can be original. It's not that deep. All that is next is finalizing the sound. You either keep each of the clips muted, or you can adjust the volume to around -15 to 20 decibels to have added sound effects that doesn't overpower the voiceover. I wanted my video to have a bit of sound, so I adjusted the volume of the clips. And then, all that is next is adding the background music that we saved. I inserted the rhythmic drumming music onto the timeline and lowered the decibels so it paired well with the other sound effects. And that's pretty much it. Just give everything a playthrough, make sure everything looks and sounds good, then just export. You can upload these types of videos on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Instagram. What I realized after making a few of these is that the chaos isn't in the tools. It's just not having a system that allows you to repeat the process over and over again. Most creators think they have a motivation problem. It's almost always a structure problem. Once you have the structure documented, you're not creating, you're replicating. The weird part is, this exact structure works outside this niche too. I've applied a very similar system across countless AI channels, education channels, faceless commentary, and even on channels that cover stuff that I didn't think would work at all. And the pattern stays the same. Not because those niches are special, but because the structure is. Creator OS exists because I know how exhausting it is to rebuild this from scratch. A lot of people inside it were stuck in the same loop you're in right now. Good ideas, inconsistent output, and no clear signal of what is actually working. Inside Creator OS, you'll see creators who didn't need a new strategy. They just needed a system they could reuse without second-guessing every upload. The prompts, the sequencing, the structure, it's all documented, tested, and updated as the platforms change, so you're not relying on motivation or luck. If you're at the point where you don't want another crazy method, you just want a system you can run consistently, that's exactly why Creator OS exists. First link in the description or pinned comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.